Festival Project. Bodies in Motion, Redefining Masculinity, Redefining Dance. Redefining Masculinity Through Dance. Not many of you may know, but this is actually a passion project of mine. This is the first time that I am able to verbalize that in front of other people. If you didn't know, I am a dancer, I'm a singer, and I'm an actor. Yes, I am in fact. However, based on some personal issues, I took a step back from the arts. And jumping back into my final year at UB, at DCFA, the Grand DCFA, I found myself compelled to finish, to complete, to follow through with what I started, and thus the project was born. Okay. For the longest while, I've been told that I am too emotional, I am too soft, I am quote-unquote too feminine, and the outside world will not accept me for what I am. I am here today as proof that that is a lie. I used to believe that I needed to change in order to fit in, but I rather stand out. I'm not one to fall in line and follow the rules unless I have to. I would rather color outside of the line and make my own name, and I encourage you all to do the same. Okay. Now, before I continue to ramble uncontrollably, I will now be presenting a video display of a bit of the process
what is dance? Is it movement or is it meaning? Is it performance or is it a language we've always known? For us, dance is more than steps. It's memory, it's culture, it's identity. It's how we speak when words fall short. But what happens when the body that moves doesn't fit the expectation? Research indicates that stigma surrounding male dancers remains a significant issue, with studies showing that as many as 62% of male dancers have experienced negative social perception related to their participation in dance. These perceptions are often rooted in narrow definitions of masculinity and reinforced by homophobic stereotypes, which continue to discourage male participation and self-expression. Historically, such attitudes have contributed to a shortage of male dancers, while those who do participate often feel pressure to emphasize strength and athleticism to validate their identity. Despite these challenges, male dancers remain underrepresented in both research and public discourse, highlighting the need for projects that create visibility, challenge stereotypes, and provide space for authentic expression. This project teaches dancers to critically reflect on their own identities, encouraging them to consider how masculinity has shaped their experiences in dance and how they choose to define it for themselves. It supports the development of confidence in their artistic voice, affirming that their personal stories, struggles, and perspectives are valid material for performance rather than something to conceal. Through this process, these dancers learn to translate their lived experience into movement, using dance as a tool for storytelling, expression, and advocacy, rather than solely technique or entertainment.
The first practice that I was witness, a lot of them were struggling with themselves in terms of timing, in terms of getting the emotion specifically, because it's a dance about strength with men, strength and showing emotion, which a lot of men are afraid to do. But within, let's say, the second week, they came back really strong, like they wanted to get it. I can say that for about everybody. That's something that they basically grasped and they wanted to show that they could be able to capture the emotions in this piece, show that there is strength within it, there is understanding. Any dancer is dancing is a hard thing. People may see, they think, oh, that easy, I can do that. What do they actually get into? They try to do certain techniques, do certain jumps, realize that requires a lot of strength. Strength that within time, yes, you can get this, you might not reach there, but that's something that you really saw within the practice session. Each time each individual grew, the steps that they got, they just got harder, right? And that's something that I really commend all of them for, like 3 times more what Adrian said. That was a mess in the beginning, but he got it, right? And I really admire each one, and just today watching them, and I'm like, yes, everything coming together, and I feel really proud. I hope I've done it for as well. And in terms of the audience seeing everything, how I hope that they can look at this and they can see the movements and understand that yes, it's men and a few that people particularly is females dominated, but males have to lift each other where they have to be able to hold their ground, be able to do all of these things and still carry that with a home. Well, we're saying, I'm feminine because of it, but no. There's a lot of strength that is required emotionally and physically. And I think that's really amazing that everybody was able to do that.
That was some excellent editing, don't you think? Not a dog me if you try that. Be shy. Now, I had the pleasure of meeting these four interesting individuals who are completely different from one another. And to see the growth and development of every single one of them has been something to witness, truly. It's always difficult to get men to expose their inner layers, to be vulnerable, to show true emotion, because we have always been told that we'll be deemed as less than, we won't be deemed strong, we won't be actual men if we show true emotion. And that in itself is hard. And this piece that we have all created, it just pushes that narrative all the way. This piece is about creating a meaning. This piece is about showing that true softness, showing true emotion, and showing that that in itself is strength. Now, without further ado, I present to you Bon Bassa.
Sauti zimepotea ndani ya ardhi, maji hayaimbi tena, nyota hazisemi, kivuli cha zamani kinanita. No
need someone else to relay my story. I wanted to see it for myself. I wanted to see the movement through some lenses. Now, during this project, there was a point where I felt I wanted to stop, mainly because I felt as if I was about to expose too much of myself to you. But then I realized that if I didn't, then there's probably someone out there who couldn't relate, who couldn't see themselves in the positions I'm in, who couldn't witness that there was another side instead of giving up. This festival project was very difficult. I struggled with stepping away from the event aspect and actually making it a showcase, an educational showcase. I think I'm maybe to do this, but I don't think so. Now, we move on to the other segment of this showcase, where I introduce you to my esteemed artist, Mr. Kelly.
Blessings.
The fabulous Ms. Johnson.
Good evening.
And the veteran, Mr. Springer. Now, I'm going to give you a chance to properly introduce yourselves and tell the audience just who you are and how far you've come within this field.
No pressure, right?
No pressure.
Blessings, everyone. My name is Sarah Phil. I am from Toledo. I am a dancer, actor, musician, vocalist, everything creative. I actually graduated from DCFA. With a bachelor's in dance. I actually did a certificate in dance and dance education also. Now I could just lay out a whole resume that definitely wouldn't match these two. But what I would say is that when it comes to anything that involves culture and the arts, I am there. So I'm actually pleased and thankful for the opportunity to speak on this panel this evening. Thank you so much.
Again, good evening. My name is Celis Johnson Olivier, and I am a past instructor here and a dance coordinator in the division. So it's always wonderful when I have the opportunity to come back to see my students in action. My entire life has been in the arts. I've been a professional dancer. I've been abroad for over 40 years, and I danced and taught there. And when I took early retirement to come back to Trinidad to take care of my mom, this door opened for me to become an instructor here at UE. So I've taught dance composition, dance history. Yeah, it's the main thing that I would impart on any of my students is the fact that they have a message to give. You have to know when and how, and learn the tools here, how to best present yourself. It is an art form, and everyone may not get it, but the fact of the matter is, it's just like we can all read the same article and we walk away with a different impression. And that's your right. This is not a science, it's the arts, and it is open for interpretation. You just ask for the respect, more so than anything else, just like you would everybody else. But dancers seem to have to fight a little bit more in that respect. But anyway, we'll talk some more as the evening goes on. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Terry Springer, and I'm a dance choreographer, artistic director, and so on and so forth. I'm actually very honored and pleased to be here because eons ago I went through the same, and it's not easy to become a dancer in our society because of all, let's say, societal expectations. As a male dancer here in Trinidad, but it's sad that after so many years, it's still actually happening in the Caribbean. I went away for 28 years, and it's like in the same way always. You know, I've danced all over the basically in Venezuela. And currently, I am a lecturer, dance lecturer at UTT. I do part-time here at UE, Caribbean School, Astor Johnson, Trinity Dance Theatre, to name a few. So I would just leave it open, and again, thank you, AJ, for the invite. And that's your actual name, right? Because it was like, it's AJ, but what does it stand for? So it's AJ. Yeah, so it's a fight, it's a struggle, but you just have to know what you want, why you want it, but what you are doing to get it. And what you said there before, it's a good thing that you didn't give up, because we have to take it forward, because somebody else will go through that. Yeah? And we need role models, we need examples. And if it's not done, then it will never be done again. Okay, so it's one step forward. I say one step because, listen to me, it's a struggle, it's a fight. I had to leave home to dance because my father wouldn't have me at home. If I'm gay, what his friends would say, and that's a euphemism if I'm gay, right? He said something else which I really wouldn't agree with you. But yeah, thanks a lot again for the invite.
The true purpose of creating this showcase was to combat the stigma behind men who choose to pursue dance professionally. Now, as we have to find examples in front of us here, I just want to ask you, if you have ever experienced set stigma within your years, and what drives you to push forward and continue.
To be very blunt, and I am asking also that you all just bear with me. For this conversation, I believe it's important to be as candid as possible. So if it is already going to be going to come out, will just ease me up a little bit. I will do my best to, be as clear, but as honest as possible. So to answer your question directly, yes. One of the most difficult things for me, even choosing going on the path of dance, was the fact that I was young. My mind was something that was still trying to find its identity, who I was. And to be fair, within the realm of performing arts, when males are concerned, there are a lot of people that are gay. It is what it is. People's sexual orientation should not matter. You're a person, that is a personal choice, and that is quite fine. And I respect every single one, no matter where or what choices you are a person. For me, I'm getting a little emotional about this because, again, very, very young and reflecting, I realized how it impacted me. that significantly, that period impacted on my confidence as a person. People always question why I was doing what I was doing. The people that I spoke to, whether it's I was engaging in sex with them all the time. Even as a person, I was being sexualized within the dance world. As a man, wearing tights, doing this, passes from both sides, it always happened. And while my mind may not have been there, that definitely impacted me in a person in a negative way. And it took me some time to search to find out who I really was. The transition from being in that place of not knowing to knowing, it took some time. Or what I would say is, I'm thankful that Creator blessed me with parents that grounded me, that loved me, and with every choice that I made, even in choosing dance, they encouraged me because they knew who I was, see me grow up, they knew who I was, and they always encouraged me to move forward and just do what it is I used to. And also, I hope I answered your question. I said there.
My story is a bit different because my mother, she supported me in everything I did, but not my father. As I said before, I had to leave home because I wanted to dance. And I started dancing very late because of this. That's the other thing. There aren't any school for male dancers for the arts here in Trinidad and Tobago. So you actually, if you want to dance, you have to be your own man, so to speak. Because and not depend on anyone actually, especially at home. So I want to dance, but I knew what I wanted to do, and no one or nothing could have stopped that. You see, but I am just maybe one out of many who is strong enough to make that decision. Because I tell you, if we had more male dancers in Trinidad today, we'll probably go down. Yeah? Because our society teaches us to be, what is masculinity? You have to be strong, vernacular, rugged, so on and so forth. But as soon as you expose some sort of emotion or sensitivity, a guy would be seen as weak. Yeah, because my father used to say that men don't cry, for example. And dance will challenge that, because you have to be able to express and you have to become vulnerable if you are a performer, and so on and so forth. So my experience there, actually I started dancing because of a girl. I grew up in the West Village, St. Francis West Village Council. And the dance troupe and the tutor, because that's what we call them in those days. I used to play drums with Redman and Junior. I started playing drums before becoming a dancer. So I was playing drums for this troupe, and they would put mustache and stuff on girls and, dress them up so they could be guys. So she was like, I'm fed up because I check dance with you. I need the guys, I need men to play a man's role. So I said, okay, I'll do it, but my intention was to dance with that girl who I liked. And it did work out. We went on for like 4 years after. And she stopped, and I realized, like, hey, this is a way out as well from then on, because I grew up playing football and smoking marijuana and all these things in Savannah. I played football, a lot of football with Russell Attica. I don't know if you all know this thing. You're supposed to. Yeah, he was a midfielder, and I was on the right side, right wing forward. Yeah, in Savannah with Newton Boys until I was 16. So when I switched from football, because I had to switch, because it's very much the same. You have to be very athletic and strong, but there are certain muscles that you don't use when you're dancing. So I would injure myself playing football and then jump into dance school afterwards at night. So after a while, it didn't work out because I was on the station and I realized, like, hey, I wanted to dance, I didn't want to play football. But then, if I had known, maybe I'd stay playing football and maybe some kind of millionaire today. But anyway, that was my decision. It was because of the period that I started dancing. And then I realized that I can make this something and come out of Belmont, you know. And then the opportunities came, if you want to become professional, then I was exposed to ballet and singing Caribbean School, and then Miss Rowe, Patricia Rowe, rest in peace, she invited me to dance, take classes at Caribbean School, and then I started doing ballet in tights and I started when I was like maybe 18 years old. Girls who were like 5, 6, 7, because that was my level, you know, but I didn't care. And a lot of people, there were a lot of questions for this choice. But as I said before, you have to know what you want and why you want it. And I have that very, very clear. And I always went back to that. Many times I would just give up and say, no, this is it, because it was too much pressure. Pressure from your family, pressure from everyone who asks you, that's the other thing. So what do you do? I said, I'm a dancer. Yes, but I mean, what do you do? How do you make a living? So for most people, being in the arts, and especially dancing, is at the bottom of the barrel. It's not a profession. So what do you do to make a living? So it was a lot of pressure, and it still is, you know. But again, commitment, being very, very committed, disciplined, but you have to have that passion. So you can be committed and disciplined, and you can go so far, maybe 2 or 3 years, but if you're not passionate about it, you don't have that passion, you will not get through. And that, I think, is what took me and got me through. I've been dancing and I'm still dancing for more than, I'm now 58 years old. I started dancing when I was 18, and I'm still dancing. And I don't know when I'll stop. If it were up to me, I would never stop. What got me through that, or what has, taken me all this ways, those 3 things. Know what you want, why you want it, and what you do to get it. But above all, it's commitment, discipline, and passion. Yeah? And it doesn't really matter. And just adding a bit to what Sari said, I mean, there's a stigma for men, especially in ballet and stuff like this, because, those styles require men to be more expressive and show more emotional side of them. Whereas, like today, I realize there's a lot of hip-hop and so on and so forth, and we have the youngsters, a lot of guys are dancing today, but in fact, they're not ready to cross that line, So, just do what you want, and the rest, it doesn't matter. However, and before due respect, we are to blame as well. Some of the male dancers, we are to blame. Because I don't care what your inclination is, but when you're on stage, you have to show that masculinity. Because if I want Romeo and Juliet to do something, I don't want 2 Juliets. It has to be Romeo and Juliet. So whatever your inclination is, once you step into the dance room, onto the stage, it doesn't really matter. I have all my friends, if not most of them, are gay. So I have no prejudice or anything against that. But on stage, we need to be role models. And just be honest. If you have 5 fathers sitting there telling their son, you have to play football, you have to do karate, and then they see male dancers who look like female on stage, they would never want them to be on stage or go that way. So we have to change that, but we have to start being role models in order for at least for them to think about it. And Trinidad, the Caribbean, we are so backward in that way of thinking. We are so backward. Men don't run. And that's our society. And I think that's the reason why we have this stigma, and we are not willing or ready to accept that as yet. After so many years, and it's still happening, it's still very sad. So these platforms are very, very important, and I think there should be a school for the arts for boys from a young age. Go to Cuba, these places. It's amazing. amazing what they produce and how they see the future. It's a different mentality.
From the teacher's perspective, having the males in the classroom with the females, it is very important as an instructor. There's certain movements that you will do that it may seem to belong in the female body, but the male version of it needs to be recognized and fine-tuned so they do not feel as if they have to mirror after the way the girls or the young ladies are in the class. So that's one of the, from a teaching perspective, that is one of my pet peeves. And I see them in performances on stage groups that may be a step that, you know, here we go. Why would I want my boys to be Hannah Kimber? What else can you do? Still give you the feeling, because when her hands are here, she's like, hey, look at me. Look at my muscles, look at me. It's the same thing that we have to have the correct interpretation of the body. If we are going to give the young men their place, and it belongs in the dance, yes, we talk about the strength and masculinity that needs to come through. It has to start from the training. And when you understand that this body of yours is capable of so much, and you really, really need to get in tune with every muscle in your body. When you're dancing, you're blocking your space. So if I make one step too short or too long, I can hit or collide with the person in front of me. So your spatial awareness has got to be on point. You have to have a rhythmic awareness that is out of this world, because we are not, I'm sad, I find that hip-hop is just too dead on that. I mean, it's in the music and the digger, and that is what they're doing. When you get to modern, and especially in jazz dance, where you have a lot of counterpoint, where you're going against the rhythm. You're inside and all over the rhythm. And you're moving in a group. Two go out, one comes in, and you still have to be focused and know exactly what you're doing. No time to think about, did I turn on the lights? Am I supposed to take something home? You have no time for that. You are so focused into what you're doing. Dancers make excellent lawyers, and it's jobs that require a head that can take in a lot of different things. And if that did not come from me, Arthur Mitchell of the Dance Theater of Harlem always boasts about the future careers of his dancers after he went through the school. Very prominent politicians and lawyers and doctors and the like. Because the brain learns how to multitask very fast. Your feet are doing 1, 2, the hands are da-da-da, and the torso is boom, boom. And it all has to work together at the same time. Inside the rhythm, moving in the space, staying in your formation, and being around everyone else. So it is not a dance when people look down on dance. It's from ignorance, not understanding how difficult it is to control this body, to do all of these things at the same time. Look effortless, never let them see you sweat and breathing so hard. And it all has to seem like I woke up and it happened. And what your friends say when they come to see, oh, it's a great show, and they feel as if they could jump up on the stage and join you. It's a compliment. You made it look easy. Take it as a compliment. But just come take a class with me sometime. Yeah, but you fall on your face. It will happen. But you need to get the respect for the years and years of training that you have put in. And when you stand there, it is a result of all that you have done. Male, female, matters nothing as a male dancer. When you step on the stage, there is something that exudes from that body that the female does not bring. He steps out and you have boom, and she comes in here, you're resonating on different levels. It still catches the eye. It's just different. Not one better than the other. It's just different. And there is nothing wrong with it being different. But I'm just a plea, if you're teaching, ever teaching a dance class, and you have males and females, be mindful of what you are giving them in terms of movement vocabulary, especially when you're doing choreography. And it's we get lazy, and everyone know it is not. Because if you had speaking parts, it would be, if everyone spoke the same thing the whole time, different. So as far as I'm concerned, if we didn't have the difference, we would be boring. We'd be like everybody else. And we are too special to be like everybody else.
One of the main objectives of Bodies in Motion was to reveal what was already there. I wanted to allow these men to share their stories without actually realizing it. Because I realized that it's really difficult to get a man to sit down and talk about his feelings. It's easier to get on the stage and perform and to show you what he's experiencing, to show you what he's feeling, what he's thinking. And that is exactly why I love this project so much. Because I'm not one to speak on my feelings. If you know me, I will shut down. But if you give me a piece to act on, if you give me a song to sing, if you give me a choreography to learn, I will show you exactly how I feel. And you will understand. And that is what I love about this so much. It's speaking without actually speaking. And I hope you understand that. Now, dealing with men within the age of 25 to 30, there's a lot of difficulty. At first, I didn't think they would have opened up to me. I didn't think that I would have gotten them to perform, and not perform as in the dancers, perform as in to reveal who they truly are. And they did that without fully knowing who I was, without fully having that connection with me. And I will forever appreciate that. Bodies in Motion is not just about reflection or revelation. It's also about starting anew. This is starting a conversation that needs to continue, that needs to progress. This is something that has been spoken about behind closed doors that needs to be brought to the forefront. This is a conversation we're having. Why is it that in our culture it's okay for a man to get up on stage and he can't even unwind and manage and enjoy himself? But if he steps onto a stage and he spits, if he jetties, if he does ballet, why is it a negative thing? Why do we deem that as less than? If you come into these ballet classes and you see these men perform, you will be shocked. You will be shocked by the strength and the power that they show, the strength and the power that they have. This is a field that is prominently female, yet when a man steps in, he grabs your attention. Why is that? I am using Bodies in Motion to create a new narrative. There is strength in emotion. There is strength in being delicate. There is strength in your softness. And that is a main objective of this festival project. Now, I have one final question from my partner. Ms. Johnson, now you and I have a very close relationship. When I first started dance composition, I had to choreograph pieces for myself without assistance from anyone. And it wasn't going too good at first. I had to ask for assistance, and then she called me and she told me to start again, and I did. And it was truly difficult for me because there was a story I wanted to tell and I just didn't think I could. I didn't know what to do until I found a song, and then the story wrote itself, and then I performed. And I think it's safe to say that I shocked everyone in the class. I even shocked myself to see the true power that I had, to see what I could do, to see the story that I can tell without feeling exposed, without feeling weak, without feeling less than. It made me feel strong. It gave me back confidence that I felt I didn't have. And I'll ever be grateful to you for giving me the space to be, for giving me the space to fully breathe. Now, as being the only woman, sorry about that, I want to ask you, how has it been witnessing these stories from these men that you have told? How has it been seeing the growth and development within these young black men specifically, coming from a culture that deems them as nothing but casting them aside?
The first thing that starts to develop within the male student, I'm stroking you to develop your self-esteem. I need you to feel good about yourself in everything. It has nothing to do with dance. But the dance, it will strengthen over time. But first, it's your self-esteem. So we'll talk, I'm giving you a critique, I'm like, I see where you're trying to go, but I know that there's more. And I will get down and even deeper. So as the years go by and I see my male students performing in the showcases and I go to see them in different arenas to perform, it's always a wonderful thing because of the growth, because as time goes by and your skill level improves, so does your confidence, which is wonderful, and to see that blossoming on a stage. So for me, I'm like, this is one more that can step off the ledge and fly. Another one, and fly. And was it last weekend? Yeah. I was able to see another student again. And boy, he's soaring. He's not just flying, it's wonderful. And I need, if you get nothing else as a young dancer when you're sitting there, you have a voice. It's not just your good morning, good evening, good night voice. Your creative voice. You have something to say. That's why you're here. I'm not talking about sitting here. That's why you're on this planet. That's why you're in this space, DCFA. You are here because you have something to say. And what you need to do is believe enough in yourself that someone else needs to hear what you have to say. It's just like I always talk about, there's no silly question. And I'm happy for the brave one who asked the question because someone else just exhaled. Good, somebody said it, and I needed to know, I needed to hear it, I didn't know. Because our society, somehow, you must be stupid if you're asking so many questions. But how on earth are you supposed to learn? You're supposed to ask. So that's a bad professor who does not allow the questions. Because it is important When you have dialogue, then your brain has become activated. It's not passive anymore. So when students feel that they can let go the hand of the teacher in terms of, position of the head and the back and the arms and the legs and the way she, the counting look and everything else in the chin, I'm just going to get up and all the things that go on, and you can let go of that and suddenly see yourself inside of the rhythm. And you're not, when you get on a stage, you are expressing yourself. You're not trying to entertain. You could not wait to bust out of your skin to get on that stage, and that's it. This is your piece of heaven. So at the end of that night, you are resonating. See, I never used anything. I've never been high in my life. I don't even like alcohol. Because I tell people my natural highs that I've had for decades after a show, they go, babble, and you gotta eat. Just very hungry. And I was just going on and on. I remember my days when I attended Brooklyn College, and after the end of every semester, there'd be dance productions, and then we always do things with theater arts as well there. And we go to a restaurant afterwards. And we get so caught up in ourselves, we don't notice people looking at us because we're the loudest table there. So we go, everybody is so high and so good from what we did. The natural high you get from just putting it all, when they say you put it all out there, yes. And it's such a good feeling to know I couldn't do any better. Be brave enough to take the initiative within yourself and just do it. What are you waiting for? Every time you get on that stage, dance like it's the last time you will ever get to perform. You will never get to perform again because you can never relive that experience. So why not give it your 100%? Just do it. Do it. Dare yourself to get to that point, and you will never get to that point where you could make another step out of that stage. But I guarantee you, at the end of that performance night, your whole body will be resonating in a different way. You will feel so good. It's a natural high. Those endorphins in the brain are just firing at millions of miles an hour. And it's a good thing. And like I said, if we had more students involved in dance, we wouldn't have a drug problem, we wouldn't have a gang problem. We'd be too busy trying to figure out how do I get to the 7-8, because 5 and 6 seem to be taking up so much time, I can't get to the 7 on time. So there'll be something for them to achieve. But the steel pan industry is doing pretty good with the ones that they are managing to pull in, because they realize working in a group what it does for them. Working in a group. Working in a group. And that working in a group, it may be the saving thing for some of you, but some of you need to feel that you can step out there and speak in your own clear voice. We want to hear it, it needs to be heard. So I salute it and celebrate it every time I see it in my students. And whatever you're performing, whether it's acting, singing, dancing, and I'm there, I try to get you backstage, I give you all my positive things, and then I'm always that one more thing where you make it so, I always, because I feel that it's, not everyone is given a gift, and if you're given something, you need to use it, or you will lose it. So please.
Sorry. As you mentioned, groups, I just want to take this moment to call the men of this festival project, Bon Bassa, and don't be shy. Now, being the subject of this festival speak on what you've experienced within these past couple of weeks. I want you to explain to the audience what you showed them here today, what it meant to you, what it did, and what got you to this point that you were able to stand in front of them and reveal your inner emotion.
Good day to everyone. For me, it was a tedious journey because this type of dance, as contemporary dance, it's a bit more technical than I am used to. It was knowledgeable for me. Like I said, I like the theme of this thesis because in dance there is a stigma for male dancers. I've been in dance over 15 years and it is real. It was fun, learning new stuff. It was hard. It was a pleasure coming here today and showing you all what men could do in dance, what we are capable of doing, not just with the stigma that goes with it, but we can do anything the female can do, sometimes even better. For me, it was a great experience. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. This process, I would say, was challenging but enjoyable. I've been dancing for over 10 years. Really a singer. I don't know where this dance thing came from, but I started out with African dance, and then I don't know how I just happened to get this love for contemporary. So contemporary is challenging. It takes a lot from you because you have to pull from the emotions, and as everybody has been saying, that's something that is difficult for men to do. So having to do that, it takes a lot of energy from you physically and emotionally. So yes, the process was challenging, but I continue to push, just like when these sentiments of Terry Springer. Sometimes really want to give up. Sometimes you want to give up because it's draining. It really takes from you, but you just have to have that strong mindset that you must continue. Yeah.
Everybody, I have been dancing for since 2017. I stopped for a while, a very long while, and I started back just last year. So, a little shaky, but I get in there. It's all about your mindset. I'm putting your mind to it to try to push through. If it was something you enjoy doing, then it wouldn't be a problem. This dance has taught me to show more emotions, to be more powerful, and show more strength when we're dancing as a male dancer. I got crazy.
I will say I've started to dance at the age 7, mostly trained in contemporary and ballet under the course dancing. Contemporary is my favorite genre due to the fact that I'm a storyteller. I'm drama by itself, and I use dance to tell stories. The keys, I will say dance is my medicine. When I leave home, or anything, I will go to dance about, So I will say for the past few weeks, it was challenging because I had to understand the piece and understand what story I'm going to deliver today. So I would say it was a bit challenging because there was one particular scenario where I'm looking to see what it really made me feel stop that. It's fact that we even have to redefine what masculinity is a problem in itself. Don't you agree? Now, this festival project, I believe, has grounds to become bigger than it is right now. And in order to do that, you need to have the right pieces within the crowd. You need to have voices within the field that are ready to stand up and to push and to fight. You can't let these stories run dry. We cannot allow men, these young African men, specifically, to be caught up in the naysay, the negativity, to allow this stigmatization to run them off their course. Now, at this point in time, I'm going to leave the floor open to the audience. If anyone has any questions, any feedback, any pointers, you're more than welcome to share. Don't be shy.
Good evening, everyone. I have a question for the dancers. What was it like working with each other?
I would be so real. Sometimes it could be annoying. You know, like, yeah, let's do it again, let's do it again. You know, when you give it 100 and not everybody's giving 100, so you got to say, yeah, we're doing it again. And this one, and this one. It could be annoying. But, you know, there's no I in team. So you really have to get that mindset out of there and be like, you know what, yeah, we're doing this. So I mean, I've been working with them for a while. But yeah, just that little but eventually, you know, it came together. One thing I would mention, like for example, Tariq and I, we actually met and we rehearsed outside of the rehearsal. So I think that actually helped. So as I said, it's really about being a team and all of that is part of it. So yeah.
So I continue, just to piggyback on that question, right? I want to go deeper with it. How was the experience performing a piece with so many men conveying strength?
For me, it was something new. Male group piece before. It was interesting. With men, we have one of the different personalities. For me personally, I would say that because we are accustomed to dancing together for quite some time now, we came together and we wanted to show the true meaning of this piece, as men, to bring forth the strength, so that a man could dance feminine, still be a man, and he could dance masculine as well.
What was the process like dancing a piece with solely men to showcase strength?
Well, I tell you what we know said never dance with men alone, or with men and female. Or music is definitely all female and dancers, because men will recognize because stigma behind that. But the experience was nice, and at least we get to show that, you know, we can show that on the
I conducted some interviews with these young men, and it was very difficult for them to relate anything to me with their words. But they surely did it with their movements. Is it that in this forum, as you stand there, are you feeling vulnerable right now? Yes or no? Yes? Why? You don't like the spotlight, however, you're doing an art form that pushes you into the spotlight. Do you think that's contradictory?
Oh, you stick on here.
Do you think that this forum has the power to combat that stigma? Do you think that what we've done here today is proof that there needs to be a change? So you understand what we did here today. You understand what body's emotion, redefining masculinity through dance is really about.
I think that it's important that we have more forums like this. And of course, to have a great life impact, because I think it's something that at least you address is something that has been going on for so long, and it's high time that something is done about it. So that's why I think that more forums like this should be taken on, as well as going off of what you were saying in terms of having the right people present who would push that narrative that you want to get on there.
Thank you. Ladies on? Do we have another mic with any audience? Yes?
Yes. Good night, everybody. Congratulations, EAG, amazing showcase as well to the participants. I have one question, kind of twofold. I would love to understand from the participants what, when it comes to the showcase and the dance that you did, how has it helped you redefine your personal sense of masculinity, and what impact that brought about during your process and, of course, in the end showcase tonight? Your personal sense of masculinity.
Sorry, could you repeat the second part?
How has the project helped you to redefine your personal sense of masculinity?
Okay, so I'll answer the second part first because I can't remember the first one now. But how has it helped? Looking back at the process initially, when I heard what it was going to be based on, I really wanted to see how it would unfold. And just thinking, I mean, it kind of supports the stigma. I wanted to see what the piece was going to look like. Because you're thinking, oh, I think it's something like real strong, like probably like African something or whatever. So to see it be contemporary, I was like, okay, this is interesting, I really want to see where we go. So I appreciated that. In terms of redefining, I wouldn't necessarily say it helped it really define, but probably added to it somewhat, because I don't think that I really adhere to the, what people think male dancer should be or whatever the case, like when it comes to hip hop or whatever, because I am very much in touch with my emotions. However, this piece, because of what it was based on, it really helped me, to dive deeper into my emotions. that is how I would say that this process would have impacted that. And the first part of the question was what? Sorry?
That's pretty much the question. It's twofold. I mean, just to throw it in there, also, we're wondering about defining the stigma. I know we got like certain nudges about it, but I know it's different masculinity, so if we can help just define what the stigma is, that will help clear it up for me. Thank you.
I think the overarching stigma here is male dancers not in touch with their emotions, everything negative or feminine or whatever that would look like.
Asking the same question for everyone? Yes? Okay.
For me, like I said, I have been dancing years. Earlier on in my dance career, it was a bit harder because there was so many male dancers as you have now. Right? Before in my time, you had to showcase your talent. So I would say that for me, I have a definition of that stigma per se at school now, because we had to dance back then, or we had choreographers who taught us to dance back then. Yes, the stigma was still there on the outside, but when we inside the real choreographers, we had the opportunity to learn from them, to sponge off of them. For me personally, each person has their own personality, and that personality defines who that individual is. And we all have to be able to put the stigma aside and put our best foot forward and do what we are capable of.
See everything I was going to see right now. So I'll pass on.
I will say it kind of gives me more confidence. I will say if we find masculinity in that, because it gives me confidence. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have two things to mention and one general question for everybody. It's not a question necessarily to answer, but one to think about, right? So when she mentioned it's just different, not one is better than the other, just different, when referring to male versus female dancers, it reminds me of a black swan, because think about it, when I say a black swan, if you see a black swan, it's like in my version of black swan, you take a picture, that kind of thing, right? I also like the people having a creative voice, and when you said you are here because you have something to say, that resonates with me. The question I have is male expression innately difficult, or is it just because of society conditioning the suppression of expression, and it's really the unlearning that is difficult? Thank you.
I think I'll answer that. Can you just repeat it to me one more time, please? Last one.
The question is male expression innately difficult, or is it just because of society conditioning the suppression of expression, and it's really the unlearning that is difficult?
speak for myself personally. I'm extremely emotional, yet I don't like to show emotion, if that makes sense. And it's mainly because I've been told that you're not truly a man if you can't mask it, if you can't hide it. If you're feeling hurt, you need to cry, turn away, or don't even cry, fake it. And it's actually harder to pretend than to actually be. Now, what is emotion? As a serious mission. To fight that conditioning that has been years, maybe even centuries in development is truly going to be a task. And it's not going to happen today, it's not going to happen tomorrow, next week. It's going to take time. It's going to take time, it's going to take a lot of energy, a lot of effort, a lot of people to get behind this mission. Okay? The fact that forums like this, or in person within the audience, have those sort of questions just shows that it's okay. It shows that at least to me, you're witnessing a change. What you're witnessing is the beginning of something, not the end, the beginning. Now, before we come to a close, I would just love to invite the woman that pushed me to bring this festival project to life. Mr. Rio, could you join me, please? Now, this is my festival project and this is my thesis. However, this is my coming of age story. And I just want to thank you for being present for that. Thank you for witnessing that. Thank you for being a part of that. And I just want to thank you, Mr. Rio, for allowing me to express myself through my art. And giving me the necessary feedback, although it may have been a tough road to swallow at times. I did it. And thank you for pushing me to continue. And that, ladies and gentlemen, has been Bodies in Motion. The man of Bon Bassa. And finally, my esteemed panel. Thank you all again for coming. There are refreshments in the back. You can kind of make your way to the back and say something to these and thank you.